Television, and my name is Leandro Lotok, and I'm very privileged to have the governor of Jonglei State, Lieutenant General Kwal Manyang Juk, and of course, it's another time that we are going to discuss issues that are related to Jonglei State. It is focused on Jonglei. This interview is basically focused on Jonglei State, the issues within the state, and of course, it is in our words or in our commitment to inform the public what is happening in Jonglei State, and not only in Jonglei State, but issues that are also happening in South Sudan, the issues that are of very important concern to the nation. Your Excellency, the Governor, you are welcome. And of course, briefly, you are out of the state and for some time last month. What, where were you, and what could you say you were going to do?
You see, Brother Leandro, we are in our culture is that the way of life tells us that if you go out, then you must come back with something. You go to the forest, you must come back with the fruits from the wild. But if you stay in one place, then nothing will come to you. God gave us the legs so that we move and go and look for something that will help us. After this comprehensive peace agreement and the formation of the government of the Republic of South Sudan and of the state, the Constitution gives me the right to look for loans from inside the country or from outside the country, and can get a loan within my financial resources or so on. I went out to look for investment. So somebody invited me to go and see their businesses as they are ready to come and invest in Jonglei State. I had to go and market what I have of the resources that need to be developed. I don't go, they will not know the chances of investment that are available in the state. So I went to the state Sultanate of Oman and I spent there 5 days. First of all, I have benefited from what I have seen, because seeing also, we learn through seeing. If I've seen somebody, the way things are being done, the manner in which things are being done, and if I am impressed, I can also adopt that system of management, the town planning, and there are a lot that I can benefit from. People say seeing is believing. What you read, you need to go and see it practically. So I went to the state of Oman and was impressed by the level of development that is taking place. And therefore I invited some of the business people who are there and assured them of the stability of the security situation in the state, and that it is favorable for investment. And in principle, they have accepted, and they will come here on the 22nd of this month to come to Jonglei, so that they come and experience the situation we're in. And I believe they will find it favorable for investment. So this is the mission I went for.
Well, when we look at Jonglei State and people outside, when they recall what happened in late December 2011 and early last year, there were these intercommunal violence. Now 2013 has come in. What would you say, or what is the comparison that you will have between the beginning of last year and the beginning of this year? Where is Jonglei State now?
Yes, in 2011, there was intercommunal fighting, and we lost very many lives, and there was cattle raiding and all this destruction. That alarmed the people of South Sudan as well as people in other parts of the world. And but the efforts that were made by both the government of the state as well as the government of the Republic of South Sudan, especially the office of His Excellency the President, with the civil societies, the efforts that were made has made the year 2010, and especially after May peace conference, when all our chiefs came for a conference on peace, and they made some resolutions which they disseminated. It improved the security situation. But lastly, in the last few months, or say especially in November and October and December of 2012, there was also cattle raiding, an intensive cattle raiding. This was not done by all the communities. There were some individuals within one of the counties that have been carrying out these attacks. But compared to 2011, and even comparing now with 2012, there is a big improvement of security situation. There are incidences, isolated incidences, but they happen everywhere. Even in America, you have heard of the killing of the 20 school children in America. It became big news. So everywhere, there's no country that can remain peaceful forever. These unlawful or uncontrollable elements in the society, they continue making these crimes but the duty of the government is also to move and control such groups. So year 2012 has started well, and it gives us hope, and then, that peace at least is coming back to Jonglei. Of course, we will not say it will be peaceful 100%. It is impossible. I will be lying if I say it will be 100% perfect. Nothing will happen again. It will not be. I will not be realistic. There will be some incidences. Why? Because the people need some services. They need their living condition to improve. And if it doesn't improve immediately, there are some people who are impatient. They wait for a while, and if nothing happens, if the government does not, if their situation doesn't improve, then they go and undermine the security of others. This is there. There has been a lot of expectation from our people when South Sudan became independent. But when it didn't happen in 1 year, in 2 years, now they start complaining. But nothing happens just at the same time. Good things happen over a period of time. But with the involvement of everybody, everybody must have an input for the improvement of the security situation. Our people, sometimes they think that somebody else will come and improve the security situation, when they are not actually, they are just waiting under a tree or sitting in their own house and thinking that good things will happen by themselves. It's not. So when our people do not engage themselves fully and make good use of their time, then nothing good happens. And therefore, complaint will come here, and therefore the criminals will go undermining the security of situation of the state. I'm saying it because the security itself needs some basic development in some fields, priority, especially roads. If roads are not yet done in Jonglei State, there are no roads, and because there are no roads, living condition of the people will not improve. Yes, security situation, people have understood and they know the importance of security. But if nothing improves their living condition immediately, then again insecurity comes in. Roads are important, and I've been saying it, and I will continue saying it. The first priority after, when we have the police in place, we have the army, the SPLA in place, but because the roads are not there, they cannot be very much effective. Roads will play an important role in the socio-economic development as well as security stabilization. So we don't have the roads yet, and therefore we are not achieving more than the peace that we have achieved. And we are still scared. If nothing happens, then again insecurity will come. This is why I had to go to look for investors from Oman and from other countries, and I'm ready to go to other countries to knock at the doors. And Jesus says, you knock at the door, and you knock twice and 3 times, then you'll get the answer. So the door shall be open. So I will have to go and knock at the doors of our ministries here, the door of the president, office of the president, and I go to the neighbors and knock at their doors so that we can get in somebody who will respond to our call. So the absence of roads doesn't encourage business, and therefore nothing will improve the living condition. The government does not employ everybody. The government has to build the roads, and the road will bring employment to people, self-employment. Farmers will farm, they will find market, traders will be able to do their work, and they will find the market, and therefore they employ themselves. So self-employment, and especially the private sector, the bulk of population are in the private sector, in the countryside. Public sector makes only not more than 5% of the population. So how do you save the 95% of the population or 80% of the population? Is by giving them the roads. And through the roads, they will improve their living condition. So still the lack of roads still remains a challenge in Jonglei, and it's a challenge to even the promotion of security situation and agricultural production, food production, economic development, and so on. But in coming here, especially with your question, the security situation has improved in the 10 counties. Although there are the Pibor is still where the Yao Yao is, David Yao Yao is active and is undermining the security of the neighboring counties. There's county of Okobo, General, Duk, Uror, Twigis, and Bor, 6 counties. And also even extending to the other counties in the other states.
I happened to go to Pajut of Mar County, where that cattle camp in Pajut was raided, and authorities there were like, these are the rebels now who have entered into cattle rustling because they were running out of food, and now they are stealing from the community. Is that true?
That's right. Those are the Yao Yao elements who went after we had already disarmed the civil population, and the army was deployed, but in small numbers, and the police. But then these elements from Yao Yao went and stole the cattle, attacked, went and got the cattle, and killed even some individuals, old people. 2 old people were killed, and they took the cattle. The population, of course, could not do anything to run out, to reclaim or to recover their cattle because their guns were taken by the government. They had handed over their guns, responding to the call for disarmament. And the army could not also recover the cows because it took a longer time for the army to move because there are no roads. So it took a number of hours for the army to arrive, and then moving, following the track, they could not go beyond the distance they covered, and therefore these people went away with the cattle. And they have been doing this, such incidents have been happening here and there.
People in your state are now accusing the army that instead of protecting them, they involved in the cattle raiding, where there was an incident in Bor County where people, including the commissioner, got an ID of a military officer, and people are like saying, no, they're accusing the army, implicating them in the issue.
No, that is not true. The army is not implicated in or involved in cattle theft or cattle raiding. This is a wrong report. The army is the one that is actually, the SPL is the one even encouraging the people to stay where they are. They feel comfortable where the army is in. So the report is a report of an individual who had maybe a case. They think that a land draw, that whenever cattle theft takes place, the army must get back these cows. And if the army fails, then the army has not helped them. This is what they have in mind. But the reality is that army are people. These are people just put in uniform, given the AKM, a Kalashnikov, which is also with the criminal. The criminals also, they have also the uniform and they have the AKM. What is the difference now? If you have a very small army dressed in uniform with the Kalashnikov, and then the criminals there, they have also the same Kalashnikov, and even if they are in civil dress, how do we expect? And the criminals could be more than the army itself. Can the army really recover or arrest these criminals? It cannot. Because the army, capacity of the army, fighting capacity of the army is less. And these are people, sometimes even they may think, oh, we cannot venture or risk our lives. The commander may say also, cannot also risk the life of his soldiers. We need more because the army must be superior to anybody else. This is what it is. So for our army to be superior and challenge these criminals and apprehend them and deter them, the army must be well equipped. They must have cars that will be fit to move on their terrain. They must have helicopters, even a helicopter gunship. And this is what was done by the Kenyan army. The JSU, when the Turkana came one time in 1988, they went Turkana, the Toposa went to Logochokyo and raided the cattle from there. And they drove them inside South Sudan. One time I have been advising people, don't look for another enemy. We have another giant enemy here, the Sudan army. Don't go and aggress Kenya. We cannot fight two elephants at the same time. We will not be able to defend you should the Kenya move in with their forces to Capoeira. We will not be able to defend you. So please stop provoking the Kenyan government. They were not listening. One time they went and brought the cattle, and the Kenya had to send in 2 helicopter gunships. They came up to Namurnyang near Capoeira. This helicopter gunship, they drove all the cows. The Topos had to run away because they could not challenge the helicopter gunship. And with ease, the Kenyans were able to recover even more cattle. They drove them. That taught the Topos a lesson. It is also the same the Kenya army has done also with the Pakot, who have been also raiding the Turkana and also the Karamoja and Teso. They had to use also a helicopter gunship. Now for these people, these criminals, who will come and take the cattle, the army with their foot, walking on foot, cannot recover these cattle because they may be coming in big numbers. And the army you have in that particular place is a very small force. It cannot recover the cattle. Otherwise, they will be annihilated. They will finish. Even our army don't even have the chest protection shield. They don't even have. You see the Americans, they have this chest protection shield. They have it. They have the helmet. Our army do not have the helmet. So we blame an army for no good reason. We are not really rational and logical in blaming the army, analyzing why is our army failing to bring back the cattle that have been stolen. Why is our army failing to challenge these criminals? Because the army is ill-equipped. We need a helicopter gunship. If they get one helicopter gunship now, and I'm recommending through the South Sudan television to our authorities, Minister of Finance, Minister of Defense, and the SPL itself to use the money, even we as government officials, we can even contribute half of our income with salaries so that we get a helicopter gunship. This will be the only way that can stop this, challenge these criminals, and drive these cattle back and even arrest them. The army got to have also a helicopter to transport the forces by air quickly to where they are needed. These things are not there, Leandro. So our people, they think that when anything happens, then the army, if the army fails to bring it, then they put the blame on the army. Our politicians also do the same. So I don't agree with anybody saying that the army has failed, the SPL has failed. They are doing their level best, and this is why the population is still there. If you see us now, the number of people who are criticizing the army, you will find that they are very few. But then in any society, you don't lack people criticizing the system. Even our government now, there are people who are opposed to it, but not the whole population. So that is what I can say about the accusation was not correct.
Following all this cattle raid, you issued a decree that there should be community police that are trained and drawn from all the boomers and the payams, so that they cooperate with the National Police Service in handling such issues. But the question comes, who takes over their responsibility? Who arms them? Who?
I know, Leandro, when the disarmament was done, there are some people who refused to give up their guns for the fear that nobody will come and protect them and defend them should the criminal come. Because they knew we were not going to deploy enough police to protect them. They wanted to see first the police, and if an efficient police able to provide protection to them, or an army, so that then they can give their guns. So I'm aware, and we are aware that there are some people still, a good number of people are still keeping the guns. Only that they are peaceful. They are not fighting themselves or fighting their neighbors. And that had been a demand of the people. Community police, community police. There was a mix-up of community policing and community police. Community policing is that the community, even they are not armed, then they become observant, and when they see something unusual, which is negative, then they report to the police immediately. Whether by night I see my neighbor. If my neighbor is, I am suspicious of his moves by night or any time, then I report the police and said, put an eye on this person, on this neighbor. He comes by night, and we don't know what, every now and then. And we think that his life also is improving. He's getting things which we think. So please, you put an eye on this. This is the policing. See who are the strangers coming to our area, our block, or then we report it to the police. That is policing. Community police are the members of the community to be armed and to take care of the security of the community. So it has been their demand, community police, and we said, okay, we approve of it. Let there be a community police, 40 people in each boomer, to be trained by the police, regular police, so that they understand the functions of a police. To be armed by the community themselves, because the community, they know the people who have the guns. Now, instead of hiding these guns, we say now, let them be registered, because they are illegal. Even though they have those guns, we consider them to be illegal, and they are illegal, and they can be apprehended and taken away from them by the army or the police. So, to make them be legal is to put them into the community police. They become members to form the community police. Now, the guns will be registered. They will be given uniform by the community, because we'll give them the type of uniform they will dress, so that they don't mix up with other organized forces. So the community will buy this uniform for them. The community will provide feeding for them, food for them. They'll be staying in one place, so that they become an effective force. Whenever they are moving to handle a certain situation, then they are found in one place. So they will have a camp in the headquarters of the Buma, 40 people, and they will also be, each of them will be given 300 pounds, and the community will pay, so that they don't find themselves volunteers. They are being paid, and therefore the money they given to them will control them, and so that they do their work, and then they will be under the overall command or supervision of the police in the county. So this is how we have put it, and it has been well received by the population. Myself, in my own village, I'm ready to pay my 300 to pay every month for one person, and therefore other members of the community will take it. Although I'm not at home in that village, but I will do my part, because those are my people. I must play my role, pay my 300 pounds, and if they need me to feed them, then I can pay also another 100 as a food for that particular person. And therefore 40 people in a Buma, I think it's not a burden to the population, because it will stabilize the security situation, will provide protection for them, and therefore support the police itself. When they are handling a certain situation, then it gives time now for the police to come in and reinforce them. So it is created and is well received, and now the counties are moving now, explaining this to the population, and it's being welcomed.